What's up, y'all? This is 4BarLoop with Nytelife, and my guest this evening is Indiana's own star of one of my favorite shows here on Facebook, man, Breakfast Beats, and he is a tremendous musician and a lo-fi producer extraordinaire. It is Brandon Meeks. How you doing today, man?
I'm well, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it is an honor and a privilege to have you on here. I've been speaking you up so much to everybody that I'm yelling at walls all the time, like, man, y'all need to be in the Breakfast Beach. Y'all need to be checking Brandon out. Y'all need to be checking him out on that stand-up bass, man. I'm telling you.
Man, thank you.
Missing out, brother. They missing out. So I wish you come out here, or you come out to the West, because man, we need that stuff out here.
Man, I would love to. Eventually it'll happen though, for real.
Yeah. COVID be damned, man.
Yeah. Yeah. About that.
All right, man. So just as I was saying before we got on, man, I got turned on to Breakfast Beats from my boy Rick Fame. He tagged me in one of your posts, and I fell in love with it ever since. It's been great, man. I try to catch you every morning that you are on. For a specific time. You done got me through some rough commutes.
Awesome, man.
With the beats and the production and stuff, man. So I really love that, man. And then you just do stuff on the fly, which is dope to me, man. So I got a couple producers on squad that do stuff that's in the lo-fi lane, and so I be telling them, this is who you need to look at. This is who you need to listen to right here.
Oh, that's what's up, man. I'm glad to hear that you're inspired by it, and that you're passing it along to your people, man. Because it's a grassroots thing, so like word of mouth is like so huge for like independent cats like us,
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's just that's the way we gotta start. That's the way we gotta start here. So it's like I'm trying to spread the gospel as much as I possibly can, because I absolutely love it.
Yeah, thank you.
So, what kind of brought you to this style of music, in lo-fi and just in general?
Well, I've been making beats for like over 10 years. I think I started around 2010 or 11, somewhere in there. Like just making beats on an MPC, and I'm part of a hip hop band called Native Son, and so I started making beats for the group. And I still do, but I make beats like it's three of us in the group. All of us make beats, but then there's only so many beats that you actually gonna really have on a record. But for beat makers that's listening to this, we make beats all the time. Sometimes we might get into a thing where we make 5 beats a day. So I was really producing more music than I could actually use for the group. So then that led me to thinking about, like, okay, well, I don't want this music just sitting on my computer. Like, what can I do with it? So I started thinking of ways to put it out, and like categorically, how does it fit, like what listeners are looking for, and like how to actually market it, and how to package it.
Right. And
I started noticing lately that I guess other producers are kind of on the same thing, because now there's like this lo-fi wave, and which is really just beat makers making beats and just putting them out and letting them be just standalone works of art. Of course, like the lo-fi thing is low fidelity, but like when you listen to like all the music in the culture, it's not necessarily all like technically low fidelity music. Like some of it is pretty well polished. Some of it is pretty like lo-fi, but it all kind of fits under that umbrella of like modern beat culture. So once I found that was kind of like a wave that's already happening, I was like, okay, so what I'm doing kind of fits with that. So let me kind of just present it to people as part of this culture, because that's actually what it is, and it's a whole movement. It's kind of part of, I guess, the spirit of the times right now. People are like really feeling like instrumental hip hop, so
yeah. That's big, man. And then, for people that are not up on lo-fi, can you kind of describe it as best as possible to kind of just break down like the minutia on it?
Yeah, sure. I guess the simplest explanation is like a resurgence of like 90s and golden era hip hop production styles. So if you think about like your Pete Rocks and your Q-Tips and your Jay Dillas and DJ Premiers, it's kind of like their style of production, but it's kind of got like a sort of a modern, nostalgic kind of spin on it. So it's going back and taking like jazz samples, just any kind of like dusty sample sound, the aesthetic of like listening to music on tape and record, and it's kind of blending it all into like this newer thing that's kind of looking back at like that time in hip hop that we all have fond memories of, or even if it's younger producers that weren't there at the time, but it's kind of like an idealized idea about what those times could have been like, and is people making their take on that music, you know. And some of us that grew up in that time, it's like, oh cool, this is kind of a vibe again, you know what I'm saying? There's a whole subculture that's into that vibe. So it's like, okay, so now, like, I was kind of too young to really put myself out there as like a kid and a teenager when in the 80s and 90s when that music was happening. But as an adult, it's like I can be an artist and be in that lane. It's kind of It's kind of cool that sound is like it's classic and it'll never die, you know.
Yeah, with lo-fi booming as much as it is right now, because it is hotter than a firecracker right now. You know, you named some inspirations that you had. How key were they in your development as a producer?
Oh man, the guys I named, like they were everything, man. Like my favorite producer from that period is Q-Tip. Of course, I'm a big fan of Pete Rock. I mean, Dilla came along a little bit later, but of course, he's kind of become the catalyst for this new lo-fi movement. And
absolutely,
such a just giant figure in hip hop. But he definitely like spawned this lo-fi wave. Like Dilla is one of the guys that everybody looks to, even outside of like lo-fi hip hop. So he's been a major influence. Yeah, but those are like some of my top influences. And there's more, you know, but definitely Tip, Pete Rock, and Jay Dilla.
Yeah, basically those are the catalysts for it all right there.
Yeah.
As far as your approach, because like I said, I watch your beat making series, Breakfast Beats, and you do a lot of things on the fly. It's not like, okay, I'm just gonna press play and you're gonna hear this beat. It's like you do things and modify things on the fly, which I think is special, because it's really tough to be coordinated to do that and to understand what the sound's gonna be before it happens, and to make it that way.
Yeah.
What is your approach to production with that method?
I usually just try to get into a good inspired place where I just feel good, like even before I come on. And depending on my mood, like I'll just kind of start hearing ideas, and from there, like I can just I'll start with like a simple bass line, or maybe just some simple chord changes. And once I have like one small idea, if I can get that out, then I can start building around it. So I usually try to just kind of get into that place where I'm feeling good and feeling creative, and whatever comes out, like because like you've seen on Breakfast Beats, sometimes I'll, like you say, I'll just make a beat like right there on the show. Like I'll start pretty much with nothing and just go through the whole process of making a beat. So usually, like a lot of times, like just being on camera doing the show, maybe playing some other beats, that kind of gets me in that vibe. And like I said, once I can kind of hear like one or two chords, I can start with that. And then it's really like I don't want to say like trial and error, but it's like I'm taking risks, because I don't know if what I'm making on the live stream is going to be dope or not. Like I just say, okay, I got this idea and I'm gonna try it, and we're gonna see where it goes. You know, and that's kind of the fun of it, because it's like watching somebody walk a tightrope. You don't know if they're gonna fall or if they're gonna make it, but that suspense is what makes it interesting, you know. So yeah,
right. And you have a high connection rate with that stuff, man.
Thank you.
You do a lot. You do a lot, and it's like Wow, how creative is this guy, man? And that's the thing that's crazy, because it's like I don't really see no duds. I mean, you probably will know what the dud is before anybody else as far as your listeners will know.
Yeah.
But you do like a really great job with that.
Oh, thanks, man. I mean, as an artist, like we can be kind of hard on ourselves. There's a few I made on the lives that I kind of went back and like, I don't know about that one. but some of those are the ones that people dig too, like, so I try not to get in my own way with that, because we can be so nitpicky about like, oh, this kick drum and this bass frequency is out of place, or but the listener will be like, man, I connect with the energy of that though. So like I said, I try to just let it flow and not be so much of a stickler that I'm getting in my own way. But some of those beats I made, I would personally call them duds sometimes, but I won't say which ones, because
right. Hey, a gentleman never tells.
Yeah, I'll never say which ones, because some of them, because a lot of them people enjoy it, man, and I appreciate that people enjoy it. So
yeah, you have a natural charisma, and you build a general connection with your audience, man. You don't let a person in that chat go by without you saying what's up to them or acknowledging them. And that's the one thing that really, really attracted me to the forum, because like I came in there and you don't know me from a can of paint. Hey, how you doing, Harvey Mitchell? And, bringing us in and having conversations with us, and while you're creating, and it doesn't seem like we're being invasive. It seems like we're at home. It's like you're almost, we just kicking it in the studio with you while you getting down with your stuff. And man, was that something that you had to build up, as far as being able to have that relationship with the camera and your listeners, and to be able to build that up?
Man, definitely. Because two things about me, man, and just being transparent, like I'm very introverted. And I'm on the spectrum. Like I have Asperger's, man. So doing stuff in front of people and being like the center of attention, like by default, I kind of shy away from those situations. But I made a conscious effort, like, yo, if you're making music, and this music has to be for a purpose. It can't just be something you keep to yourself. So I really had to spend time and just really develop the tolerance for being on camera, and develop the skill of getting out of my introverted shell, and you know what I'm saying, and just really trying to engage with people. So that's something that I've put a lot of effort into, and thought deeply about, because I wish I was like the type of cat that can just be like the life of the party and you know what I'm saying, do all of that. But that's something, that's not like one of my natural talents, but it's something that I'm aware that it takes that to get the music out to the people. So I work hard at it, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that it pays off. I'm glad that you pick up on it, and like, yo, man, this cat is charismatic, and he's engaging, because I put a lot of effort into doing that. Because if it was just up to me, like I'd just sit in a room by myself and just make beats all day, and just you know what I'm saying, and just not really put myself out there like that. But in the long term, it's like, well, who does that benefit if nobody ever hears the music?
Facts.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, it's not like you just out here putting hella sauce on it. Like you overselling. Like a lot of cats, when they get on live, man, they just be overselling themselves. And it's like, it's okay, dude. It's it's 8 o'clock in the morning. We don't need you to be, busting.
Yeah.
Like, relax.
Yeah, I'm still pretty mellow. I'm myself. Is but yeah, but on the other side of that, it's like, I have anxiety about getting on camera, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it takes work, Yeah,
it's brave for you to be able to fight that, man. When you have an Asperger's, that's I wasn't aware that you had that, and for you to be able to fight through that and still be as personable as you are, because I feel like when I watch you on Breakfast Beats, I think you're the same guy when the camera goes off.
Yeah,
I don't and that, I guess that's a safe assumption. Not a lot of people can carry that on, but I just feel like you just have this authenticity about yourself that it's like, okay, well, if I ran into you, you would be the same guy.
Oh yeah. And for me, it's like the whole Asperger's thing. It's more like a social anxiety. The way want to engage with people in my head, like a lot of times, like social anxiety will kind of prevent me from doing that. But actually doing breakfast beats and doing music has kind of challenged me to kind of really present myself the way I feel in my head. You know what I'm saying? So it's actually been like very therapeutic doing breakfast beats just for me personally, because it's like it's something that I have to focus on and be like, okay, well, here's your limitations, but how can you push that envelope? You know, and and it's in a way that for some people might be very easy, but for me, is growth, because like I said, I could. I'm personable in real life off camera. Anybody can kind of come up and talk to me, but a lot of times I'll kind of just tend to be to myself. Like there's people that watch Breakfast Beats that know me personally, and they be like, "Man, I ain't never heard you talk that much, bro." Because I'm kind of like just chilling. I might have thoughts, but I'm kind of to myself, because I deal with like a little a level of social anxiety with the aspect thing. So it's kind of helping me overcome that.
So what's the best part of Breakfast Beats for you? I mean, I know what it is for the fans, but what is the best part of it for you?
The best part of it for me, man, is hearing the feedback from people about like how it inspires and helps people. Like people talk about how it helps them get through their day. I've even had people tell me like that they felt suicidal, and something about my music kind of pulled them out of that.
Wow.
I've had parents of children with autism tell me how like the music is like helpful with their children and mellowing them out and lifting their spirits. So it's crazy, man, because I'm just sitting in the crib making beats, and it's for any artist, man. Like I say, get your music in front of people, because you never know like who needs that music. Because that's, like I said, that's the most rewarding thing for me, is hearing like the positive ways it affects people in ways that I could have never imagined.
Yeah, connection. The connection part of it is really important, and I think you do such a great job with that as far as connecting. Your goal as a creator is to love what you do and to make a living while you're at it. Your fans are diehard and contribute by purchasing beat tapes and making contributions during these lives. How have you not been afraid to solicit them? And as an artist and a creator, as an artist and creator, I struggle with it personally. Asking for the sale and the contribution and stuff like that, because I just feel like, okay, well, is it good enough for people to want to buy it or whatever? So how do you navigate that?
Man, one, I deeply believe like as artists, man, we don't have to take a vow of poverty. You know what I'm saying? Like, like the whole starving artist thing, man. There's nothing romantic or cool about that to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm married. I got 3 kids and a dog, bro.
Facts.
So like, so when you look around and you got your kids looking at you like we hungry, asking for that sale becomes a little bit easier, And but aside from that, like I've taken like marketing classes and really spent time diving into like what it takes to make a living with art. And any coach or teacher that you go to that's teaching you online marketing, the main point they're gonna drive home is you have to ask for the sale. You can't assume that people are just gonna just feel like you so dope and just empty their pockets. Like you have, you present yourself in a way that's engaging and allow people the chance to like you and to trust what you do, and then create a safe environment where people feel comfortable with you asking. I mean, it's just like any other interpersonal relationship. You build a genuine connection with people, and you build like an environment of reciprocity where you give something to people. People see the value in what it is that you offer, and then they feel like they want to give something back. So when you come in and ask for a sale, then it's like, oh man, Brandon's a cool dude. Like he puts this music out. I enjoy it every day. yeah, let me give something back, and they'll, you know, and they don't mind. So it's like, as long as you create an environment of respect and trust, you know, it's totally cool to ask people to buy stuff, you know.
Yeah, I'm a frequent star giver, man.
Yeah,
I come in there and drop stars for you and stuff like that, man. Because I just think, man,
oh yeah,
if I was doing the platform, I would want this. I would want the same done for me, especially if you putting out the quality things and then you're treating people the way that you treat them. Like, it's just, you deserve it, man.
yeah, man. Thank you, man. And yeah, and I see you coming through, dropping stars in there, and like, yeah, you and everybody else along that does that, man. I deeply appreciate it, you know. And I think I do the best job I can, like letting people know how much I appreciate it too, because I don't take that stuff lightly, you know.
Yeah, that's the best thing about it, is that your follow up is uncanny. Like, you don't miss a lot. Like, when people do stuff, or you may miss something, and then you'll go back and, oh, I still gotta recognize such and such for doing this because they did this earlier and I didn't shout them out, so let me go ahead and do that. You do really well with that.
No, right.
I think that's why people love hanging out there.
Yeah, right on, man. Yeah, I like the age that we live in now, where you can create these communities that, like, even like 10 to 15 years ago, man, like I couldn't do what I'm doing now. Like, we never would have been able to connect like this, like,
Facts.
10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, we live in such a cool era where those of us who probably never get mainstream media attention can still build these communities with people like all over the country and in different places all over the world. So like, I'm trying to push that envelope as far as I can, you know, because I never could have imagined this as a kid, you know, when people didn't even have cell phones or the internet.
Yeah, now it's like there's every form of media. Like, man, my daughter is just all over the place with that stuff. And
yeah,
she's a whiz. Like, and she be showing me stuff like, Dad, you know how to make your TikTok pop? I'm gonna show you how to do that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, my kids are on that wave too. They be getting it, you know.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and segue into that, because, you know, you've been able to wedge time, you know, between things that you do for your family, providing consistent and providing consistency, and then playing at events. How have you managed to balance everything without sacrificing quality, and then quality time with your family and quality performance with your music?
Man, that hasn't always been easy, man, because one part of being on the autism spectrum is that one of the traits is, like, you kind of can go super hard on the special interests to the exclusion of other things.
Yeah.
So so full transparency, man, that's kind of been a challenge in my personal life, like going so hard on the music tip that my wife is looking at me like, yo, like, you still married, dude, like. But I've been able to kind of rein it in really in recent times, figuring out, like, okay, it's okay to step away from the music, and it's okay to, like, take a day off, and me and the wife just go kick it. You know what I'm saying? Just go do whatever for the day. Set aside a day and just spend time with the kids, and spend time with my wife, and just have fun away from the back to enjoying life. So, like, what I do lately is, like, I try to, like, just schedule myself somewhat kind of rigidly, at least make the schedule rigid. Right. And then, like, when I get into it, I might, like, adjust things here and there as I go. But for me, like, writing things down and scheduling is real important. Having certain days for certain things, having certain times for certain things. Like, okay, like this block of time is for the music, and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? And then it's family time. And when we're doing family time, you done with the music. You know, trying to master that. You know,
right?
Just
it's. I know it's hard walking away from it sometimes, because you may be in a groove and got some things rolling, and it's like, man, you don't want to put it down, and then when you think about it, it's like, okay, it's 8:30. I gotta be out here with the kids.
Yeah, man. Like I can get into that zone, and then it's like time just stops. And then when you look up again, it's 10 hours later. So, Yeah, I think all artists kind of deal with that. Like it's like you kind of have to have that kind of trait or that kind of personality to be an artist.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm a hip hop artist myself, man. And then I get into grooves while I'm writing or I'm recording, and then
Mm-hmm.
when anybody breaks that when I'm doing it, dude, they get the bad end of it because I'll be like, "Yo, you see me doing something. I just let me live in this moment and
Yeah,
knock this out, and then you have all of me after, but I got to do this shit. Like I can't,
right.
I can't sit up here and I gotta focus on this. This is my attention right now. I'm in a groove, so just let me be. And a lot of times the kids understand it. It's like, okay, we can't mess with that right now.
Yeah, yeah. They understand. I do pretty good, like kicking it with the kids and stuff. Like once I'm not doing music, like they got me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We doing stuff and having fun, and watching movies or going here and there. So just getting that schedule and that balance. Once it's to that point, then it's like it's cool. Yeah.
You got anybody in the family that's trying to follow in your footsteps? Because that's hard with me, man. I cannot get my kids into this side, man.
My kids all like music, man. My wife, like I say often, my wife Tamika, I say she's the real music talent in the family. You know what I'm saying? I just happen to be the one that is try to make a career of it.
Right.
But my wife has perfect pitch. It's like she's an incredible singer. She comes from a very, very musical family. So my kids got it on both sides. So like my oldest daughter, she messes with like about 4 or 5 instruments, like cello, not cello, violin, piano, guitar. I think she wants to do bass. She messes around with the ukulele, and she has like talent for all of it. My middle child plays cello. She can play piano by ear. My son recently got him a saxophone. His uncle and his grandfather were saxophone players, and he seems to have a natural talent for it. So so all the kids are into music in some capacity or another. I'm interested to see where they're going to go with it. Like, will they become professionals or do something else? Because they remind me of myself as a kid. Like I just drew all the time, and I was into art, and my kids are kind of into that too. And they're thinking like, Daddy, I want to be an artist, and I like music, but I don't want to do that for a career. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I said too when I was your age. Look at me now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that'd be the thing, man. Having kids that play different instruments like that is like having a left-handed pitcher. Like,
yeah,
they can do so many things and go so many ways and make so much income with being able to set themselves up with bands, as you've done with yourself, to do different things and put them in different places and travel and all that stuff. The music just opens up so many doors with that stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of opportunity there, and I think they do have the talent. So my wife and I, we encourage them as much as we can. Like, yeah, just get in there and practice. Do it. Yeah, like join jazz band, join this. Because we can already see like they got it. Like, and the sky's gonna be the limit for them.
Right. So the fact that you do your live music, and you're such a tremendous upright bassist, from the clips that you when you go live, I watch, and you seem so at home when you're playing at these events and stuff like that. What's the greater love for you? Is it the production, or is it the instrumentation?
Oh man, that's a tough question. That's almost like asking which one of my kids is my favorite,
right?
Yeah, it really just depends on the moment, man. Like there's certain situations where I guess that's why I learned how to do both, because I really appreciate like the jazz world, and I'm a hip hop baby. You know what I'm saying? So that's the era I grew up in. So I kind of learned how to do both because I appreciate both so deeply. So when I go into a jazz club or I'm dealing in that world, I like to be able to speak that language, and at those times I'm totally into it, and that's my favorite thing. And then when I get with my band Native Son, or if I'm doing breakfast beats, then that's my favorite thing. It's like it really varies with the environment and the moment and what I'm feeling at a particular time, man. But other than that, it's kind of hard to pick one over the other.
Hey, well, let's get into Native Son a little bit, man. So how did you come together as a unit?
Man, so we'd have to go back about like 12 years. So the band is 3 people: myself, my friend Richard Sleepy Floyd, who's on drums and production, then our other friend Bobby Young, who's the MC and also on production. Bobby and Sleepy, they met at Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana, in the early 2000s. At that time, I was going to school in Chicago, and I didn't move down here to Indianapolis till like 2004. So they had already had been doing music together a little bit, doing some ciphers and some parties and stuff at IU. And then when I got ready to move down here, I met Sleepy on a gig with my brother-in-law who plays saxophone, and Sleepy he filled in on drums with us, and like we met one time and became like the best of friends after playing together like once. And just through those associations, we discovered that we were all kind of into hip hop and trying to figure out how to do live musicianship with hip hop, and we just came together and decided to form a band. And it's kind of had a few different versions of the band. Like for a while we had like singers and horn players and everything in the group, and then later on we kind of just pared it down to just 3 people where we'd run tracks during our shows, and then we play like live drums and bass over it with the MC. And most recently we've kind of expanded the group again to include like a couple keyboard players, but it's always been the 3 of us just rocking like just beats and some live bass and drums and then some dope rhymes.
Yeah, so do you guys pull do you guys rhyme, or do you bring people in to be able to cover that?
Yeah, just my guy Bobby, he's the MC, so like if we were to Roots, he'd be like Black Thought, you know. Okay. Yeah, so he covers all the lyrics and writing and all that stuff, and dude's an excellent MC, you know. And we've all grown together and developed our craft and our skill together, so it's like the idea of bringing somebody else in with, you know, it's a chemistry thing now. Right. Yeah, so
you grabbed a mic once or twice?
No, man. I think we got like one song that we did where I kind of did like some background vocals for demo purposes, and then Bobby and Sleepy heard it and they was like, "Man, it's dope," and we just left it on there for the record. So yeah, man. Yeah, but that's about it. And
go ahead and get your 16, man. Step out there, man.
Nah, bro.
Do it one time. You got it.
No, that's not my talent at all. I'm a beat dude, just
right. So being a judge on the Gauntlet Beat Battle, which is I'm trying to get you over to be a guest judge. We've talked about on your live stream. We have producers of all ages running through that bracket. What's some of the things that you can tell younger producers that are in the early stages of development?
Find a producer that you like, and then try to learn their style, like mimic the things that you like, and then use that as a basis to figure out what your own voice is. So like, just like when you learn how to speak English, you mimic the sounds that you're hearing from your parents and the older people around you. But right. then you take that and you try to find your own ideas and your own identity and your own voice. So it's the same with music. You might, I think it's good to like just study whatever producer that inspires you, figure out like their thing, pull all the knowledge that you can from it, and then maybe do that with a couple different producers, and then that'll give you some tools to start being able to express your own voice. So, and that's the thing you really want to get to, is expressing your own voice. But you don't want to get stuck on, okay, I like this producer, I like Hit Boy, so I'm gonna make everything like Hit Boy for the sounding like him, but you can learn, like study his style and learn like what he's doing, but then figure out like, okay, what's my, it's like, what do I have to say? Like, how can I change this around, or what other things can I pull in from my life experience to really express my own voice? And,
right, and I think that's great advice. You know, as far as, because people be scared, they really scared. Like, I don't want to be a biter. I don't want people to think I'm this and that. But your framework comes from who inspires you, and everybody does it. All your greats studied a great.
Yeah,
they all have.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true. If you look at Dr. Dre, Dr. Dre, like, he was straight copying George Clinton on the Chronic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like George Clinton's chord progressions and bass lines. Dr. Dre was just taking that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, he kind of reworked it and put his sound on it, but he didn't sit there and be like, I don't want to be a biter, so I'm just going to create something that's never been done before. He took things that existed and just combined them with other things to create something new.
Enhanced it.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's nothing new under the sun. There's just interesting ways to combine things that already exist. You might find two things that's never been put together before in the way that you might think about doing it. But
I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, well, you know, because we get into that argument with sampling and all that stuff, and I'm like, well, you got to understand that your favorite song came from one of my favorite songs, which came from somebody else's, came from one of my parents' favorite songs, and it just regenerates over time, and it's just in new forms and fashions. So, you know, it's like, people like, oh, there's no originality. Nah, that's just the game, man. That's what happens.
Right. Yeah, that's totally how it goes, man. Like, everything's recycled, you know. It's funny now because, like, watching, like, my kids, like, they're like so fascinated by the 90s. You know, it's like it's just so interesting to them that I actually lived through that time period, like the 80s and 90s. Because, like, they find the music and the culture of that time period fascinating. Yeah. So, like, as they go on to make music, that's probably going to be, like, what they draw their inspiration from. And then that whole style, or those styles that existed then, will kind of resurge and get some new life and have a new take put on them. And it'll just keep going, you know?
Yeah, that's my oldest daughter's. I listen to her playlist, and I'm like, you got some good taste.
Yeah.
I could actually rock with this on a road trip. Nice job.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's always the most encouraging thing as a parent. You see your kids, like, dig good music.
Right. It's like, yeah, so we raised you right.
Especially
Me and your mama raised you right.
Today's time, man, because there's so much crazy stuff out there.
That's a whole nother story, man. We can go another 40 on that.
Man. Yeah, maybe I'll come back for another interview and we can dig into that.
Yeah, there you go. So one of the main questions I love to ask people, man, is like, you know, when you shut it all down and you take a mental break from turning the knobs and playing bass, and you know, what's your go-to activity outside of music?
I like to read a lot, man. I like to like, I'm into, like, history, and I'm into like social issues, like really big on, like, the subject of, like, Black empowerment. And studying, like, history, like, the stuff about, but, like, the stuff about history that they don't teach you in school. So, like, I'm always, like, digging into that. Like, okay, what was the real reason the world is the way it is, and how did things come together the way they have, and just trying to just dig deeper and, like, understand on a deeper level, like, the state of things and why the world we live in is the way it is. So, like, I'm usually thinking about, like, stuff like that if I'm not doing music. And then I'm into like self-improvement, like trying to study like the mindset of, like, people who become millionaires, and different ways of, like, just improving habits, and finding like the best way to, like, hack my own brain and nature of humans to, like, just be the best person I can.
Yeah, see, I'm a self-help nut. I'll be reading all of these books on, time management and how to do this and how to interact with people, how to be a better manager, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I read stuff like that, and people around me be like, "You're weird, man." It's like,
yeah, that's what
I
I
read
be
for entertainment. I'm like, "Yo, I'm in that."
Yeah. Yeah, I like stuff like that, man. Like just digging into it, because I didn't really do a lot of that as in my younger years. It was more like in the movies and entertainment and just checking out different types of art. But as I get older, it's like just trying to really getting that appreciation for knowledge.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'd be on if I'm not doing music. Just trying to just continue learning.
Yeah, so one thing I did want to ask, and I wanted to ask it earlier, and I just remembered to ask it. The projects that you put out, you name some of your projects after months. Is that intentional as far as just capturing the mood of that particular month, or how does that come about?
Oh, well, that started with my website. So you may know I have like a membership site.
Yeah.
And people that are members of my website, I do monthly music releases. So I just figured, like, okay, well, if I'm going to do 12 albums in a year, maybe just name them after the months, and people can kind of keep track of like the chronology of it and the vibe of that month. I just felt like it was like just an easy way to, instead of trying to come up with super creative titles 12 times a year, because like naming an album is big. So I was like, okay, I'm doing 12 of them every year. Maybe just naming them after the month and just trying to present it in a way with like the artwork and maybe like just the mood of the beats, just to try to match the energy of that month, and just keeping it simple.
Yeah, you might have a problem, man, because I heard Where I Belong, and that almost got rapped on before I
Oh, word. What's up, man? I love to hear that kind of feedback too, man. Like I like that MCs feel inspired by my stuff and want to write or rap to it.
Well, it's mood based though. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you need. If you have that, then you can catch a vibe with it real quick. It pretty much writes itself. You don't have to overthink that. You could just be like, okay, what mood does this put me in? Okay, this puts me in this mood. So pen, go to work.
Right.
It makes it so easy. So yeah, I got to listen to January, man, and I really, really enjoyed that a lot.
Oh man, I'm glad, man. I'm glad to hear that. Like that's a record. Because that kind of came, I'm re-releasing that one. Like I did that one last year in January just for members of the website, and I re-released it this month for everybody. So like now, like so because it's just a limited number of people on my website,
right?
And so it's cycled through all of them. So I'm like, okay, let's bring some more people in. And let's let everybody hear it. And it's been getting some positive feedback. Like I've been seeing sales come in every day for it, with not as much effort as I thought I was going to have to put in to sell it. And it's very encouraging.
No, that's good, man. It's really good. I enjoyed that. I was sitting up here and I was just like, all right, well, let me go ahead and catch a vibe while I'm holding on. And yeah, I liked it. I liked it top to bottom. It's dope.
That's what's up, bro. Thank you, man. So we got another one coming. I'll keep coming every month.
Okay, well, what you got in the pipeline right now as far as what's going to be coming out, if you care to share?
Oh, absolutely, man. So I'm still doing the monthly releases. So like instrumental projects will be coming out each month. Then my band Native Son, we have an album called Never Be King that's ready to be released. We're just trying to settle on a date and a release strategy. So I definitely want everybody that's listening to keep up with me on social so I can let you know about that. Then I got my new jazz quintet that's we're traveling around and doing shows this year. So we're looking at coming to a city near you. We're right next to Cincinnati, Ohio, so we'll be going there, working on getting some stuff going in Chicago. And then just trying to branch out from there. So that's my jazz quintet. So yeah, that's at least three things that I got. I'll probably keep going, and we could probably keep talking for another hour because I'm constantly trying to think of new things to work on. But definitely those three: Native Son album, my jazz quintet, and then the monthly releases on my website, which will also be on Spotify too as we go.
A lot of great content, a lot of great music there, great albums there, man. Make sure that you check out Breakfast Beats. He doesn't do it every morning, but you can get your notifications, and as soon as he hit live, you'll be notified, and you can get up in there and, you know, throw some stars at this man and continue to contribute and show your love, man. I mean, he's bringing something that's needed, that's a breath of fresh air out here. You know, you can't get banged in the head with an 808 for, you know, forever. You need to be able to vibe and to chill and to be cool, and, you know, you may, if it's the evening, you may want to have a little drink or a little smoke, depending on what your vibe is. You know what I'm saying? And in the morning, if you in the commute, you need that energy to start your morning. So please check this man out. He is amazing.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate all the kind words, man. And yeah, everybody's welcome to come and be a part of what I'm doing. I would love to have you.
All right, so we're gonna get up out of here, man. I think I done took up enough of this man's time. I'm pretty sure he has to go and hang out with the fam or do some beats, one or the other, or both maybe.
Yeah, I'm about to go crash, honestly.
Hey,
it's late where I'm at.
Yeah, brother. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here, man. I really appreciate it. I definitely want to do this again, because this is like one of the funnest interviews that I had, man.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, I'm down, bro. Oh, before I go, the website is actually BrandonMeeksMusic.com.
BrandonMeeksMusic.com. Sorry.
Yeah,
thank you.
You know, you got it.
Dude, I did a live yesterday. For the Gauntlet, and we have to tell them the website and then tell them the Cash App to be able to send the $20 entry fee. And I said the wrong Cash App. And so my boy hit me. He goes, "Yo, you know you said the wrong Cash App." And I made a whole production out of it. And it was just like, okay, not for like an ass. So I had to start writing things down, man.
Yeah, I'm a witness. Writing things down that helps. Yeah, but somebody was glad to get that Cash App, so it was a blessing to somebody.
Well, I'm crossing my fingers and nobody sent bread. Like, I hope they didn't send bread yet.
Yeah, I hope not too.
He jumped in the chats and corrected me, so that was cool.
Yeah. Right on,
all right,
man.
So thank you again. I really appreciate it. So we're gonna get up out of here. Difficult roads often lead to most beautiful destinations. Shoot your shot. Go for the win. You might make it. Peace.
Thank you.